Well, good Thursday to you. It is Thursday, May the 8th. We are at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show in Saratoga Springs, New York. My name is Wayne Williams. I am here the last couple of days alone without my co-host of the first week and a half, Susan Kane. So we miss Susan, but we're finishing up some taped reports so that you can watch these reports on a daily basis as we wind down here in the last week of the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. Now, the Saratoga Springs Horse Show is a charity event. There is a group called the Capital Fund, and the Capital Fund supports many different charities around Saratoga Springs, like Domestic Violence and Rape Crisis Centers, 4-H Youth Development, St. Clement's Grade School, Mary's Haven, Franklin Community Center, the Backstretch Employees Service Team, St. Clement's Outreach, Rebuilding Together Saratoga, the Captain's Youth and Family Services, the Salvation Army, the Food Kitchens, the EOC Soup Kitchen, and 18 different food pantries around Saratoga. So there is an awful lot that they support, and it's through the profits or the money raised during this horse show that we benefit all of these charities around Saratoga County. I've had a blast here in Saratoga, and I've learned a lot. I have done my studying up as you move up and down this corridor along the Hudson River and up to Lake Champlain. Things like Fort Ticonderoga are right up here. Ticonderoga is Mohawk for Junction of Two Waters, built by the French in 1756. The town followed the fort in 1804. The actual town grew up, Ticonderoga. A lot of Revolutionary and French and Indian War history. Plattsburgh, way up to the north, built in 1609 by the French alongside the Iroquois Indians. So they together worked on this. The city was chartered in 1785. There was a Battle of Plattsburgh during the War of 1812. That was one of the three most influential and decisive battles in the War of 1812. The other two were in New Orleans and Baltimore, but Plattsburgh was the third most decisive battle. So just a little bit of history and trivia about the area. It's gorgeous around Saratoga Springs, noted for the spring waters with therapeutic value all the way back to 1821. Now, on this Thursday, in the jumper ring today, we're running puddle jumpers, low training jumpers, high training jumpers, schooling, and then the 1.15 meter, 1.20, 1.30, all the way up is running today. Then about this afternoon, it'll be the 140 Welcome Stakes, Class 325. We also have two hunter rings going. In Hunter Ring 1, we have Hunter Prep, Performance, Green Working Hunter. We have Regular Hunter, High Performance, Low Hunter. And then this afternoon, Limit Equitation will be at about 3 p.m. in Hunter Ring 1. Hunter Ring 2 for this Thursday, Open Hunter Prep, Schooling, Open Hunter 2-6, 2-6 under saddle, 2-3, 2-3 under saddle, Modified Child Adult Hunter, Maiden Equitation, and then Novice Equitation. We'll wrap up classes. All going on today in our jumper ring and our Hunter Ring 1 and 2. They are all underway today, Thursday, May the 8th. So we invite you, if you'd like to, if you can't come out and you'd like to help the charities that the Saratoga Springs Horse Show through the Capital Fund helps, get a hold of them through the website here and make a tax-deductible donation. Any donation would be appreciated. All right, we're going to have an interview coming up now, right here at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. We have a nice young lady who manufactures tack boxes, stalls, jumps. Well, not really stalls, but jumps, tack boxes, compartments, saddle racks, and the like. All out of wood, all handcrafted, and she makes them all herself. So let's go meet her right now. Well, here at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, we are here with Stephanie. Now, Stephanie runs a company called The Salty Dog. manufactures some beautiful equipment, tack boxes, trunks, saddle racks, and jumps.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you got into this.
Well, when I was younger, my parents moved from a show barn to a no-name backyard barn that had no jumps, and looking at the prices of them, it was just so expensive that they couldn't afford it. So my dad actually ended up making all my jumps for me when I was a kid, and it kind of grew from there.
But you do all the woodwork, so you really got into the woodworking. I mean, you build them, and you even come up with the neat little designs, right?
Yes, I am the builder. I also have my uncle who helps me in his spare time. He kind of has a little bit more talent than I do, so he's really helped me grow my business that way.
Now, you've turned this into a full-time business, full-time passion, right?
Yes, I have. You know, you got to pay for the horses somehow and get yourself to the horse shows, so what better way than find a company that will bring you there and let you sit here all day.
So tell us about your horses. What kind of horses do you have, and where or what disciplines do you show in?
I'm actually in between horses right now. I don't have any of my own, but I'm from an equitation background, so slow and steady wins the race.
So you get into the equitation and really into the judging of how well you can ride and partner with the horse and pull off all the equitation, not just clearing jumps and having a clean round or trip or not, but actually the equitation part. So now, how long have you been riding?
I've been riding since about 8 years old, so over, what would that be, 18 years now?
So, see, what that forced you to do was give your age away, see?
Guilty.
Oh, well, I'm not getting into that with me. So, now, you're actually over in Massachusetts, correct?
Yes, I'm in Worcester County, Massachusetts.
So now, you try to stay fairly close in a region where you do things because of shipping and all that, right?
Yeah, shipping is definitely a big problem these days. I mean, the prices of everything, fuel has gone through the roof. So I try and stick with Massachusetts, Capital District, New York. I go to Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and northern New Jersey.
So now, if somebody came to you and said, we need jumps for a show, you would obviously work with them, but you would help them. If they came to you and said, I've got a specific theme idea, you can work with that, right?
I do my best, yes. I'm always looking to get them creative and new jumps out. So like this year, the big thing is water-themed jumps. Anchors, buoys, canoe paddles. That's really starting to take off. And it started with an idea from a show in Rhode Island, actually right near the water. So
you have provided the full jump package for various shows, right?
I have not yet. I actually just got my first contract this year for the Rhode Island Finals. So that's what I'm working towards this year.
So how many jumps do you have to put together for that show?
That show, we're looking at probably about 10 jumps total with the schooling ring. And it's a small show, but it's a good start.
Well, it's a good start. And you go back and you construct all these and make them fit a theme. And in Rhode Island, what better than a nautical theme, right?
Exactly, yeah. So I'm really excited. It should be a good starter.
So when you set out to build jumps, special wood, special criteria, any testing you do on the wood to make sure that it's going to be what you want? Obviously, you don't want something that's going to be, well, we just heard a rail go down behind us here in the jumper ring, but something that's going to come apart or have knots in it that would allow it to break out. So what do you do to really check out the wood before you manufacture?
Well, I've been in business for over 5 years now, so I've really kind of seen what works and what doesn't. Certain manufacturers that I only buy certain things from. Rails in general, I try to buy cedar, which is going to be a more hardier wood than like the pines and stuff. So that, like as we just saw, when a horse knocks it over, it's not going to just break right apart. Cedar doesn't rot as easily, so it really takes a lot more time for it to break down if it gets hit numerous times.
What about the hardware, the jump cups, the holders?
The hardware, I actually go with a seasoned veteran. Potter Steel is the company that I buy from. It's a very small company. It's one gentleman that makes the jumps. And he actually supplies for stuff like the World Cup and stuff like that. So I really found, like, even though he's a small company, he found what works. So I go with him.
The last thing you need is for you to put all the time and effort into building these jumps, all the wood, the paint, the design, and then have it be something like that outsourced hardware that gives you the grief, right?
Right. Right. You definitely, over the years and stuff, I have great customers for the basis. I build them something, even if it's something I've never built before. The feedback that I get from them really helps out to figure out what works, what doesn't. And I'm very much, if something I built for them and it doesn't work, I will come back in and fix it for them.
Now, what about colors? Do you get specific requests for various colors?
Yes, the biggest thing that's taking off right now is actually custom jumps for their farms. I've done for colleges, for schools, getting their custom jump with their name on it. That seems to be a really growing thing. Kids love giving that as a gift around Christmas time.
Are there any colors that they might tell you are better colors for jumps and colors that horses maybe shy at a little more?
I find it really depends on the horse. I do think that there are certain things, like growing up for me, we had a horse in the barn that would not jump hunter green jumps because he had crashed through one at a horse show and he just refused. So, of course, we're going to paint all the jumps hunter green.
Well, I've heard people debate this for years about our horses colorblind. I personally, they may not see color the same way we see it, but I personally believe they can distinguish.
Absolutely. I do feel that. Colors, something a little flapping. That's why we put coolers on jumps to kind of get them looking back a little before they get in the ring. Throw as much at them as possible at home, and they'll be fine at the shows.
Now, I noticed in the jumper ring here, we're not as high right now, but when they got into like last week when they were doing the Wood Memorial, and it was, the big $25,000 Grand Prix, when you've got about 5 rails up, so you're up to about a 5-foot jump, and the horse there's nothing else blocking it, so they can see through all of those rails. To me, being able to see through all those rails, not being a jumper rider, that would really make it more challenging to me. But do you see anything in the way one is constructed that way that gives them more trouble?
That's a good question. For me, not really jumping that high myself either. I think that the more intimidating jumps are the complete solid ones. Like they have the walls, brick walls that go all the way up to 5 feet solid. You can't see around it.
And over it.
Yeah, I think those are a little bit more intimidating, but that's my own personal experience.
Now, when you put these jumps together for the show in Rhode Island, do you get in touch with the course designer and or the judges for any specifics that they're going to require? Because they're going to be laying a course designer and or the judge are going to be laying out these courses, so you must have to have some communication with them prior.
Yes. So the course designer, Tommy Hearn, is actually going to get a hold of me. I have a general basis. The show said, we need X amount of jumps for the ring. And Tommy's going to call me and say, this is the course, this is what I'm going to need. I want a certain amount of wing standards, certain amount of rails. And he kind of gives me a better idea as that once we get closer to the show exactly what he wants. But as far as the design is concerned, like whether I throw some canoe paddles in there, etc., it's my discretion for design.
But what he wants at specific jumps and how he wants them to be the challenge for that course, that's going to come back to that. Then you can add the frills, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, again, the name is Salty Dog. Now, that's spelled the old English way, right?
Yes, it is. So that's going to be Salty, and Dog is DAWG.
So what is your website? How do they contact you again, Stephanie?
So they contact me at saltydogequine.com.
DAWG, Salty Dog Equine or equine.com. And you do a great job. We met, I think, first time last fall here at the Horse Expo. And actually, we had some interviews and stuff done there. Some of that is running on your website, I believe, right?
It is. It is.
So, and here we are at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. And you've been a vendor over here for the duration. And we're into that second week, kind of getting close to winding this down, but it's really been a pleasure to talk with you again. And again, that contact website?
Salty Dog, DAWG, equine.com.
And she sells them, she builds them, she does it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, Saratoga, New York, in May 2014. It's a beautiful Thursday. This is what, May the 8th?
I believe, yes.
9th, 8th, whatever. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That's our Thursday, May 8th report. We are at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show, Saratoga Springs, New York, as we're winding down the second week. Don't forget, brought to you through the courtesy of Capital Charities, and they donate monies to many, many different charities around Saratoga. The funds that are raised through the horse show are all given back to the community. The Saratoga Racecourse is right across the street, 151 years old this year of continual racing, the oldest racecourse in the United States. Right across the street, we're on the grounds of Yaddo. Also, the stables for the racetrack are around us. It's all one huge complex, actually, at the Saratoga Springs Horse Show. I'm Wayne Williams. We'll have another report for you tomorrow. Join us.